appreciating, you got to start being grateful, and you got to start recognizing. Hear me, as good leaders, you need to understand your name may be on the marquee. All you senior pastors, listen to me and listen to me real well. Your name may be on the marquee, but you wouldn't be where you are if it wasn't for those people that come to your church every Sunday and help you get to where you need to be. Did y'all hear what I just said? You got to learn how to start appreciating the people who are helping you get to the place that you need to be. Hear me, I'm talking to you senior leaders and the rest of you second and third tier leaders. I'm going to help you too. You got to understand that you got to start appreciating people. You got to be grateful for what God has given you, and you got to show some recognition, whether it's from getting your name called over the pulpit to whether somebody bringing you a piece of bread or a glass of water. You got to be appreciative, because people don't have to do any of this for you. You have to learn how to make sure that you appreciate. Sometimes it's just good that sometimes that those of you, hear me, that's underneath someone in a covering standpoint. It's good for you sometimes just to let your leader know, hey, I love you, I appreciate you. Those that are over you, it's good for you to say, I appreciate you going to God on my behalf and caring about me and showing some honor and some respect. You want to show people that you honestly actually care. And hear me, Jesus asked for their heart before he asked for their hand. And so many of these preachers today, they ask for your money before they have a compassion for your heart. You got to understand the people who you're connected to. You got to understand people can give you everything. Now watch this here. On the flip side, you can give them everything and they still don't have an appreciation for you. You can cover them. You can make sure that because a lot of times we confuse our friendships and our ministry. So when one fall out, we lose everything. You got to know how to have a disparity in some things. And so many times we so convoluted and we have metastatically metastasized ourselves. We don't even carouse the entire relationship. You must understand that every parasitic friendship and relationship has got to be cut away in order for God to get some things done. I am a person that believe in my grass being real good outside. So True Green, they come by and they fertilize my grass. Now watch this here. They have a machine that's like a vacuum cleaner, and they'll come and they'll open up the ground to get the seed in there to grow up the areas that what I need to make sure my grass grow right. Okay, they do that at the end and they do that in the beginning of the year. Watch this here. If you're not careful, you will see the dandelions growing with your grass and you would think that's a harvest. That's why your cut game got to ever be so tight and ever so careful. You got to know how to appreciate those that are helping you and holding your arms up, lifting you up, supporting you, showing you authenticity of love and care. Be grateful for people who have put you in different doors, different spheres, different avenues, showing you the greater ways and the greater power things of God, and you want to show recognition. Hear me, I say all the time, I'm not who I am by accident. There are people that make all this happen. Hear me, I don't make this happen. My job is to get out there and do my part of what I'm supposed to do. But hear me, there's a team of people from around me, from a wife to an administrator to various ministers, to different clerks. Everybody helps me in some kind of way, whether you think it's big or small. And you got to know how to appreciate that one or those people who help you. Now, you second and third tier leaders, you need to appreciate those that are over you. You ain't gonna never get no blessing if you always looking at everybody else and you don't see the one that's actually covering you. You got to make sure that it works both ways. So you got to show that honor and that respect. Now, I'm not telling y'all to do that so y'all can do that for me. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm saying that you got to show appreciation, respect, and gratitude and recognition for those if you're going to be a good leader. Now, hear me. This is where a lot of people are messed up at, and this is where their churches are jacked up, and this is why God don't trust us. You got to stop belittling. You got to stop disregarding people. You got to stop doing that. You got to stop. Okay, you fell out. The world don't need to know that you fell out with them. People don't need to know that you fell out with them. Your members don't need to know that you fell out with them, because what ends up happening is the churches start falling out because the leaders are too immature to come to the table and deal with it. Whether the leaders got to get in the room and they got to duke it out, spaz on each other, whatever it is that they got to do, I feel that the leaders should do that. I don't feel that the people need to see all of that. If I got a problem with people, and I have many problems with people, my folk not going to know that problem with the people because I don't want them to lose respect for that individual. And that's what ends up happening. Then you lose respect for the individual, and then it gets out, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. And then what ends up happening is these preachers start taking sides. It'd be a bunch of foolishness. You got to stop belittling the people of God. Just simply say this. You know what? They're a man of God. Somebody called me and asked me about a preacher. I said, they're a man of God. Well, so. I say, I don't know. They're a man of God. You know, some things you got to just learn how to leave alone. There are certain people in my camp. They know we don't talk about certain people. We don't bring up certain names. They know don't bring that person's name up. They're dead to me. I'm dead to them. You got to know how to do it. No, you cannot shoot them. No, you cannot shoot them. As bad as I want to, I can't shoot them. So if I can't do it, can't nobody else do it. That's my rule. I feel like if I got to get up to go to work in the morning, I feel all you need to get up and go to work in the morning. That's just me. You know, I'm just being honest. But stop belittling people. Stop disregarding people. But hear me, as a leader, you got to show more appreciation, more gratefulness, more recognition, okay? So let me go ahead and give you all of these, and then that way I'm going to conclude because I'm going to give you my last point. Okay, tonight we're talking about leadership. I call it leadership. And I said you got to start, number one. I had 5, so I'm going to give you 6. Here's number 1. I said you got to start spending time with the right people. You got to stop spending time with the wrong people. And you got to spend more time with people who you respect. Number 2, I said you got to start facing your problems head on. You got to stop creating problems. But then number 3, I said that you got to spend more time giving simple solutions. Okay. Principle number 3, I said that you got to start being more genuine, fair, and reliable. You got to stop being dishonest, deceitful, and deceptive. And I said you got to be more authentic, fair-minded, open-minded, and honorable. Then I said number 4, I said you got to start valuing your mistakes. You got to stop being and blaming your mistakes, rather. And then I said you got to be more open to the lessons. And then I said the 5th principle, I said start appreciating, being grateful, and showing recognition. You got to stop belittling and disregarding, but then you got to have more appreciation, recognition, and gratefulness. Okay, that's what I said. Here's principle number 6, and I pray that I've helped you tonight. I said you got to start mentoring, you got to start guiding, and you got to start giving better advisement. Sometimes you got to stop answering everybody's questions and help them figure it out. Being a stalwart of faith, 30 years in preaching, multiple years of apostleship and bishopric. I was a bishop before I became an apostle. Being a father of the faith, being a father to the generation of the young guns, as we call them, being one that go around and establish plant churches, doing authentic work of an apostle. Depending on how you look at it, my track record speaks for itself. I had to learn that when I walked into different areas, I had to reinvent myself. I was a preacher's preacher. I think I was a prolific preacher, but I wasn't a good father when I first started. I just beat the brakes off of you. It was Idi Amin Dada. Show me the hand you stole with, I cut it off. I just beat the brakes off of you, didn't care. That wasn't good. But then I came across a scripture one day about being one of the not many fathers. So I had to learn how to work on my parental skills, and maybe I wasn't a good father because I didn't have a father in front of me that taught me how to be right. You follow what I'm saying? The father that I knew, Dr. Hardin Perkins, I found the father in ministry. He had died. He done went on. That servant Moses is dead. I didn't have nobody to train me, coach me, or anything. I went to a certain place. I was limited into that area. So hear me. Only thing I can do is rely on the lessons of what I didn't learn and to be a better father of being cohabitated in some areas. When I went through that thing, and that's not dogging nobody. I saw good fathers, but it doesn't mean that the father loved all of his children. So I knew what that was like to be like a Joseph. I knew what it was like to be a David. I knew what it was like. I've seen all the tracks. I've been there. I mean, to try to be a faithful father, the brothers want to kill you. They think you got a motive. It's all kinds of stuff. Whatever you want to look at, you can look at it that way. But once I learned how to start mentoring, once I learned how to do some things, I became better. I wanted to get great. Whatever I failed at, I wanted to be great at it. Now being a father, my sons, they talk to me, my daughters talk to me. I tell them a bunch of stories. I tell them things that have happened to me, and they learn from the lessons of which I did. I make sure that they don't fall into the things that I fell into, whether it's been a temptation, whether it's been a fast trick, whatever you want to call it. I make sure that my kids don't deal with those certain things. I make sure that my natural kids see me, give them what they need so they don't have to look for other people to give it to them. I try to make sure that my spiritual children don't have to go outside to go talk to 19 other people to try to get what it is that they need. need. And I believe those of you that cover people, I believe that your people shouldn't have to go run to other folks always trying to get answers to stuff. And I believe that if you have a relationship with these other pastors on the outside, they don't need to be cross-pollinating with your members, because indirectly what ends up happening is they'll start taking your members. So you want to be careful in that. So I learned how to mentor people. When people come to me that's under other coverings, I say, look, you need to go give me a letter of release to make sure your covering like it, or me and your covering going to talk about it, because I don't want them to be thinking I'm taking their people. Neither do I want them to ever think, amen, that I'm teaching something contrary to what it is that they are teaching you. So I had to learn how to make sure that I'm giving proper advice when I try to guide them the correct way. Apostles are travelers. They're not settlers. They are people who's supposed to impart, teach, coach, train. You train them up, send them out. That's what you do. You got to understand apostolic work. You want to learn more about that, come join my 5-4 ministry class. You'll learn all about that. But you got to start mentoring. You got to have some advisement, and you got to know how to guide them the correct way. Number 2 of this principle, you want to stop disencouraging, hindering, and preventing and blocking people. I don't like dictatorship. Back in the day, let me tell you this lesson that I learned. If I fell out with somebody, I used to tell my people, if you dealing with a person and I ain't dealing with him, you can be over there with him. Dumbest thing from the truth, because they're still talking to them. And then what ends up happening is the people still stay connected to folks who are no longer part of you, because they want to make sure that they know still what you're doing. They don't really care about your friendship, and then they'll try to drop little seeds, and then they make you feel some kind of way. I remember one time, one of my daughters had a situation, and I found out that people, I had a mole in the camp, and I had to learn how to plug the mole. You follow what I'm saying? And hear me, but I had to stop blocking, I had to stop preventing, I had to stop hindering, I had to start doing so, because hear me, as a leader, your mouth, watch this here, your mouth is influence. And hear me, when you're under a leader, and you're really under that leader, and you really love that leader, you follow what that leader tells you to do. So that's why as leaders, we got to make sure that we're teaching our people the correct way, and we don't lead them astray the wrong way. Okay, and here's my last point. You want to make sure that you give them more leadership, you give them more mentorship, and you give them more inspiration. It's very important that you give them proper counsel. It's very important that even if you have to have a hard, stern conversation with someone, that you end it on a positive note. You want to make sure that your part in what you're doing and what you're saying is conveying the right principles to people, to show them the rightful way to love people, to honor people, to guide people in its proper perspective of the way that seemeth right. I am learning right now every day as I go higher and higher that you want to teach them the correct way. The Bible says, yet I will show you a more excellent way. So hear me, even if I'm jacked up, I should show you from my mistakes how not to fall into my diverse temptations of mistakes. You should want to make sure that your people are growing and that they go further than you. In all of the Bibles that I write in, I give an example as I close, and all the Bibles that I write in for an affirmation, consecration, enthronement service, whatever it is that I'm doing, I always say these words to them. I say, you shall be greater than I. I always say that. I say, you have launched off of my shoulders to launch into the deep. I want to speak this word over you as I get ready to go. You're going to cast your net on the other side. You're going to be even greater. You're going to be even more powerful. You're going to be even more prolific. You're going to be even more daring. You're going to walk into the seasons that God has called for you to walk in. Why? Because this is your time. This is your season. This is your turn. This is your moment. You have got to believe of who you are and why God has called you for such a time as this. I pray tonight that I helped you. I pray that I gave you some great tools, nuggets, and principles today to understand the call of leadership. I wanted to give this to you. I hadn't been on in a couple of days, and the Lord had really been dealing with me. And after today, when I was doing my painting and all that good stuff, the Lord began to download some of these things that I shared in my heart with you all today to talk about. I pray that it helped you. I want you to share it with your spirit. I want you to talk about it with your leadership. Talk about it in your Bible study. Talk about it in your MITs. You can show this video. Show it to them. Help them be imparted, be implanted, and watch how God is going to enlarge your territory. I appreciate y'all, family. God bless you. This is my time. Good night, everybody.